Well, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Simon NoChaNoMa. Good evening, good morning. Good morning, especially Night Rider's Gal. Yes, I'm feeling better, thank you very much. I've just got a bit of a sore arm and sort of appears to be a bit sort of tender under my arm for some reason as well after the jab. But yeah, yesterday I was feeling a bit kind of... I went to work and no problem there, but just it could have been just the fact of work, and it was Friday and I had a bit of headache and thought not feeling brilliant. Hello Peppo, yes. We got J Vlog, yes. So no picture-in-picture at the moment, but I've got the blurry background going, which is rather good. Sort of I don't have to have an expensive camera. I can just get StreamYard to do that for me, and I move my tree from the left side of the sofa to the right side of the sofa, just for a bit of, effect. Welcome. I mean, I'm here in my living room, real one actually. I debated whether to go upstairs and do the old Fukui farmhouse living room green screen, but I thought no. I'll traipse all this gubbins downstairs. It's all set up on my coffee table and. There's not much space to move about here, but yes, I've got some pictures. I've got a slideshow to show you later in the background. I'll show you my slides, just for a bit of variety. I've got my wine. Oh, I've just spilled on my coffee table. Yeah, I went out and got that this morning with my shopping. Cheers, everybody. Oh, look, blurry wine. No, I've only had one glass so far. Hey, Dibble! Sorry you're here, yes. Can you hear the jazz, Dibble? Can anybody hear the jazz? Is it playing softly in the background? I had, yes, Night Rider's Gal, I had the, what was it called? Begins with M, I think. It's sort of like the Pfizer, but... not Pfizer. It's an mRNA one. I've forgotten the name of it. It's like 50% strength of people who got that booster originally. I had Pfizer to start with, and my friend who runs a cafe at Skippy's, he had this booster, and he said, "Oh no, it's terrible." I felt sick the day afterwards. I thought, "Oh dear," but I had it, no problem. Moderna, that's it. Thanks, J-Blog. Yes, Moderna. No music as of yet. Right, I'll see if I'll turn it up. If I don't know why. Why is it not doing it? It used to do this. Right. Right, can you hear it now? I can hear it. It's blasting in my ears. I might have to take these off. Hey, Vicky! Hey, MMLSO! Yes, I saw Rory's live stream this morning, and she said to go to yours, but I just got out of bed and I was getting ready to have my breakfast. And then Adalabati, I was in town and popped into Adalabati's live stream, but I missed yours. I'm sorry. Alas, hello, Alas. It's always like it's an interesting name, that Alas. Oh, Alas. Could be read in so many ways. Alas is alas. Alas, it's alas. So yes, no guest this week. I may try and get a hold of Sonny Foxfangs, who is part of Jaded in Japan, who have now gone silent because Squid, one part of Jaded in Japan, is now busy with her baby, and Sonny Foxfangs does another live stream podcast thing, sort of on her own. Which I've watched a couple of times, but I'll try and get her on at some point. You are a lass, yes. Hey, lass. All right. So yes, Adol Abati was in Yokohama showing us the sights there, and I was trying to find some video of and I've got photos of Yokohama somewhere, as I went there with Tokyo Joe, or I met up with him there. And we went to the Pot Noodle Museum, which was, not the best bit of Yokohama. I know I've switched off Voicemeeter JVlog. I was trying to when I was setting up this morning or earlier, my Voicemeeter was not loading and not. The drivers was not doing what they should do, and it wasn't working. So I'm just on the raw interface, my ID4 interface. So there's no effects. I shall not be talking like a Dalek, and I shall not be crackling. Hopefully, I'm not crackling. Hopefully, I'm not crackling. And I shall be having no noise gate to cut off background noises, which is why I'm so close to the microphone. Otherwise, you get a sort of an effect like I'm in my living room, which is very hollow and big. So I have to go up here. Not that much. Hello. Your friend may be... no, it had friends as well that were sick from it, Dibble. So it's just, I suppose, it depends on your body and your reaction to it. So yes, where was I? Yes, I'm just on the regular microphone, which is why my mouth is obscured by my pop filter. But yes, no going out today or tomorrow. I think I'm going to give Tom a rest. And it's just grey and cold and not the kind of weather to go out. I mean, I was lucky the last two outdoor live streams, very, very lucky. And the sun came out and it was nice and fresh and wonderful sort of winter walks in the mud. Pump the tunes to a Bluetooth speaker and so it feeds back through my microphone. No, I'll tell you what, I'll if nobody's hearing the jazz... I don't know why it used to work. I'm sharing the screen with share audio. I mean, it's. Hang on, where are we? Late night mood jazz in the afternoon. I shall get rid of that. Okay, voila, that's gone. You can hear it. Oh, I've just got rid of it. Sorry. Was it any good? Don't ask Dibble. It's very quiet. Well, that was the point. Just sort of like. Oh, hang on. I may get that back. Sorry about all this. Where was I? History. Late night mood jazz. Okay. Play. Make it slightly louder. Just to annoy Dibble. And go to StreamYard. Go to Share. Go to... Oh, there's an advert playing. Oh dear. That's share screen. Chrome tab. Share audio. Yes, blah blah blah. Da da da. Share and you'll see. Oh look, advert. Stella Bikes. Oh dear. No, we don't want that. We want this. Searching for jazz.
You might have seen videos like this before,
it has become
but here's the big secret. Anyone can make one of these videos in a few minutes. You might think you need a professional animator or to learn some fancy editing program.
That's another advert.
That's not the case. In fact, we know you can make a professional video just like this, even if you've never made a single video before.
Advert, yes.
Let's find out how.
Doodly.
Hi.
Bugger off, Doodly. This never happens on Vicky's live streams or Rory's live streams or Adela, but yes. The bike is theoretically it would be cold, but I wear leggings. I wear on top of my leggings I've got my regular work trousers, and on top of my work trousers I've got waterproof trousers, and then I've got like a t-shirt, hoodie, and then a zip-up jacket, and then on top of that a padded jacket. So by the time I get to work, I'm quite warm. This stream is brought to you by Stella Bikes. Yes. Now it's overpowering my mic. Oh, bugger. Hang on. Right. Let's get back to quiet again. Because I have limited control. Yeah, that happens at this age. Limited control of functions. All we can hear is jazz. All right, okay. I've turned it down. Does that help? Turn it down a little bit more. Right, now you should just barely hear it. Give up and make Dibble happy. All right. So, can you hear me now? I mean, I didn't say anything particularly interesting while the jazz was taking over, so... Vids of your mom! Hey, you made it. Vids and I were at Radri's live stream earlier. Radri was just sat eating with Kiki and chatting, which is, you know, I've considered that. Not sitting with Kiki and chatting, but I have done that actually with Radri there as well. We had a dinner at a restaurant in Tokyo Station actually with Kiki and also my friend Hinnock from Germany. So it's fine now. Good. Right, I've turned it down, so you can just hear it in the background. I shall be turning it off shortly. Or the sound, because I've dug up a video that appeared once on a show I did with Tokyo Lens, who was my guest, and he's friends with the shamisen players Kiki, and I'm friends with the shamisen players Kiki, and I wanted to show a video on that show of the shamisen players that I took in a restaurant where they worked, and they served me my kaiseki dinner and played a song for me, which is rather nice. During that particular show, a couple of years ago here, it all was rather crackly and buffered a lot, so hopefully it won't do that this time. You caught Kiki without any pants on. I mean, she wasn't on camera. She's very rarely on camera. I mean, you know, and you... the cold weather and the bike. Hang on, I thought I answered that. Perhaps the jazz was playing when I answered that. The cold weather is cold. The bike does what bikes do, and I get quite warm cycling half an hour from here to work because I'm layered up like any nobody's business. So I'm usually sweating even when it's like 4 degrees outside. The advert made you check all your browser windows. It's not fine, it's still jazz. Vicky, are you still here, Vicky? I'll do an Adolabati. I've got 4 million viewers in the house, it says here. There must be more than 4. It says I've got 4, but I mean, just counting the people in comments, there's more than 4. So what I shall do, I may be preempting myself. I'll go to the background. If I go here. Ooh, oh no, wait, playlist. Go back to the start of the playlist. That's it. Oh, okay. There. Oh, what? Is that the start of the playlist? No, that's not that. Why is it not that? Hang on. Going backwards. I should go here, that's why. Yes. Start at the start. Japan, November 2015. This is just background stuff. Just for... When do I get my license back? This is a good question. I'd like to know that as well. I get my driving license back when they get round to processing whether it's acceptable, my British license. And I gave my British license to the town hall at the end of December. They then posted it off to Brussels, and 2 people in Brussels who are responsible for the entire country of Belgium, for all people who don't have a Belgian driving licence and have a non-European driving licence wanting to be exchanged. These 2 people have to process all that, and it was then the Christmas holidays, and it was then New Year's holidays. So they probably just started now, and if it's alphabetical, I'm at the bottom of the list. So, long story short, probably February, end of February, beginning of March, with a bit of luck. So here we are. Asakusa, Sensoji. Nice pagoda in Sensoji. I'm getting nostalgic because I was watching a video about there's a Japanese chap who does all the latest updates on whether Japan is going to be reopened, and basically no, it's not going to be reopened. Basically, all people. He basically said to people, if you're planning to come to Japan in 2022, don't plan to come to Japan in 2022 because it's looking, even though the Japanese government said sort of they may be opening the borders to some visitors at the end of February, it's looking more and more unlikely. The music is still a bit overpowering. All right, I'll get rid of it. I'll do what Alas said, and I shall get rid of that. Okay, should be no music now. Right. The jazz should have gone now. What am I saying? I was saying that Japan is closed until 2023, probably, to visitors. So that's why I've got all these nostalgic Japan pictures from my previous visits going on in the background. I mean, my live stream is from Belgium. It's King of Kanto commented on Radri's Twitch stream, sort of jokingly that I had nothing to do with Japan because I was in Belgium, and so I tried to sort of have a certain Japan connection going on still. But jazz has gone louder. I don't know why it went louder. I've got rid of it now. I can get the UK license back from the town hall when they've sent back. I mean, I can't use it though, not in Belgium. I mean, I'd be stuck. Really, I would probably have to go and take a Belgian driving test. Yes, I mean, I've still got to book that. Alas, my trip to the UK in March. It's just a hassle. Before it was just click this, click that on the computer, and pay automatically with my credit card, and just turn up at the shuttle, and they automatically checked your number plate and said, "Oh yes, this is so and so, and he's already paid. He could just drive through." And you went on the shuttle and then drove on for another 8 hours up to the north of England. But now you've got to do all kinds of things like book your lateral flow test for when you get in, and take a photo of your lateral flow test results and send it through. Oh God, it's a hassle. You don't have to do tests before you go, but you do have to do a lateral flow test on day 2 of arrival. Still, luckily the one I'm looking at will give you results within 2 hours, so you don't have to you don't have to send you don't have to post the actual test off to some approved centre. They just look at the photo and the results. I mean, it's a scam, really. basically. I mean, I've done a lateral flow test. Cost me about €8, which I thought was still expensive. And you stick it up your nose, you swirl it round in the little thing. You wait 15 minutes, you drop it onto the test, and it says whether you're pregnant or not, and that's it. But these places are charging like 20 euros just for the privilege of like sticking a Q-tip up your nose. Did I drive into Japan? No, I didn't. Because it was extremely adventurous of me to go to Japan in the first place. With all booking the Shinkansens and everything and places I was going, I kind of like chickened out of like getting an international driving license, and chickened out of using my total no Japanese language skills to go and hire a car. And even if I had hired a car, I wouldn't be quite sure where to go with it, or be totally confident of driving in Japan. At some point in the future, I may do that, because it's about the only way you can get to different places than the main cities. They do. I mean, I would be okay in that respect. Oh, are you that sort of? Don't get in the car with Night Rider's Gal then. Oh look, Tomoko Des. That's us at Nagoya Castle. In the rain, I remember it was the only time it rained actually on my Japan visits. I think that's 2016 or something like that. Yeah. No, I mean, I'd quite like the idea of driving in Japan, just the freedom of being able to go somewhere. Because I looked up once about going to, when I was looking for guest houses, I looked at looking for nice guest houses to stay at in various places, but you could only get to them by bus, and you had to be able to read the bus timetable, know when it was coming, and know where to ask the bus driver where you had to get off. Hello, Robert. Yes, I mean, it was. I spent ages planning my Shinkansen trips. I had a big file that I would take with me to the JR station booking centre, and I would open it on the desk for the Shinkansen ticket. I'd have my JR pass ready. And I'd point to things I'd all printed off to the chap. So I want a window seat on this Shinkansen at this time. So planning a road trip, God, I don't know. Nissan Skyline. Well, I'm more modest. I'd be quite happy with a Honda Fit, or otherwise known as a Honda Jazz. That's my future car. It's very boring. The blurry background effect is, yes. Well, I could do it. I could get rid. If you want to see the pictures clearly, that's my. Yes, hang on. Right, let's have a look. Pause. Okay, right now. StreamYard. Virtual background none. There we are. That should be clear now. So there's Tomoko Des and me and my actress friend Yoko Shimada in a nightclub in Nagoya. There we go. Play. Okay. $200% better. Yes. I mean, the pictures were basically just for sort of like when if I failed to talk, it's so that you'd have something to amuse yourselves with. That's the view from my hotel in Nagoya, which was rather a nice day. I think in November 2016 or something like that. Hello, Chris. Oh, I'm doing not so bad actually, Chris. Thanks. Oh, you wouldn't like my neck of the woods in England then, Night Riders Gal, if narrow roads scare the crap out of you. In the Lake District, it's all narrow roads with stone-built walls and hedges on either side. This is on the way to Yamaguchi, on the a view out of the Shinkansen window. Hang on, let's see. This is what I can do in Minicam. I can go, ooh, move there. Oh, that's my friend in Yamaguchi, who I was going to visit. That's why I went to Yamaguchi. Oh no, I'm behind my name. Hang on. Hello. Have to move myself up a bit. There we are. That was this is breakfast, Japanese breakfast in a hotel in Yamaguchi. First time I'd ever had Japanese breakfast. No cereals, no toast and marmalade, no juice. It was rice and fish and vegetables. Very interesting. And I wouldn't want that every day, but yes, driving on top of the dikes in Holland. A big drop each side. Yeah. Yes, and you got your breakfast served by a young lady in a kimono, which is, would be nice if I had my breakfast served at home, something like that. What's next? Ah, that's my friend from Yamaguchi. We're in the gardens of, can't remember, some temple in Yamaguchi with a garden designed by a top Japanese painter from the 16th century or something like that, if I remember rightly. Oh, there's another one. One of the reasons I went to Japan. Hey, Adolabate, MMLSO, Vicky was here. I don't know whether she's still here. Hi. You're just missing my slides of. These are my slides of. There you are, takoyaki. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I think there's 12 balls, 12 octopus balls. Very hot and extremely filling. And doesn't look entirely healthy actually, but it was very nice. I was trying to look for some Yokohama pictures, Adolabate. I couldn't find any. Some may appear in this. I think maybe some Chinatown pictures. Yes, just after that takoyaki, my friend from Yamaguchi then took me. She wanted to take me to a stand-up soba restaurant, and I just had 12 takoyaki balls, and then tried to. I couldn't manage the whole bowl of soba. It was just a bit too much. Yes, takoyaki. It's a go to. I had that in Nagoya as well, and that's the view of the inland sea, the Seto inland sea, with all its industry and islands on the view from the Shinkansen window again. they melt. They don't melt. They melt the inside of your mouth. They don't melt in your mouth. They melt the inside of your mouth because it's so hot. Oh, this is a guest house in Shibuya, of all places, in Tokyo. I had to get the bus there, which the one and only time I got the bus from Tokyo, from I think Shibuya Station. Yeah, Shibuya Station to this place. Luckily, I had Google Maps. That's the inside of the room. It's rather nice. Tatami floors and a NoChaNoMa and all that business. Never taken the bus before. Not quite sure whether to do it again. It's very nerve-wracking. I was going to. This is my friend's Kiki, who you may recognise if you familiar with this show or Suguru Shamisen. That's the first time I met them. I met them on Facebook and said, "I'm coming to Japan. Can I meet up with you?" And they said yes, so I did. Overnight? No, it was just the bus from the station to a bus stop near that guest house. It was very nerve-wracking though, because everything was all in Japanese. And after meeting them, we went to have lunch in Ueno. And the chap behind us is a friend of theirs. He also plays shamisen and other musical instruments. And he actually paid for the lunch, which is rather good. We had a lunch in a Chinese restaurant. Yes, I went on my own. 4 occasions, always on my own. But luckily, there's like lots of YouTube friends and Japanese friends like Kiki and so on that I could just go and meet. So I spent most of my time just going from person to person, various YouTuber to YouTuber, and my friend Yamaguchi and so on. And I made some friends along the way. Oh, this is I think Ueno Park. Yes, the temple in Ueno Park with this circular formed tree. Apparently, I'm reading my book about Tokyo before Tokyo. This is one of the older temples, not the oldest, but one of the older temples in Tokyo. I think a random restaurant just in a Tokyo street. I just like the way they decorated it with this sort of micro garden. And I've forgotten the name of this. It's a deer scarer. It's called this like water feature. I think that's Shinjuku. Possibly, yes, that's Shinjuku with Don Quixote underneath. Yes. Very cyberpunk. It's strange now without the jazz playing in the background. Oh, it's jumping about all over the place. This is Shichigo Han. So it must have been November, yes, in Meiji Shrine. They're all dressed up. I was very fortunate each time I went to Meiji Shrine. It was either Shichigo Han or there were Japanese weddings, traditional weddings going off. Like this. There we go. Yes, I can imagine the days before internet. Traveling in Japan must have been more of an adventure. But I get very sort of flustered if I don't know what's happening and going on. So the internet is a big benefit. Oh, that's Chuck. That's Chuck. I first and only time I ever actually met her in real life. She was at a club in Shibuya singing songs that she'd composed. And the audience consisted almost entirely of Japanese men in their 30s and 40s, all waving glow sticks. It was rather odd. There was the internet. It was not as you know it. Yes, dial-up internet in would not have worked very well. Yes, if you're watching, Chuck, that's an old picture of you. Sorry. Because Chuck and Chuck's mum often watch me. There's a lot of car talk going on in the comments. all started due to my license problems. Is that the end? I think that was a pause. A pause. I hope that's just a pause. Yes, that was a pause. This was a slideshow I made for my Japanese class when we had our end of year party. I bored the entire class to tears. There we are. Suddenly goes to Kyoto. There we are. What's that? Japan 2006. Oh, it's only 2016. There's another 2 years to go yet. Oh dear. So Ninanzaka. Looking quiet, which it is now in Kyoto anyway. But back then I had to get up quite early in the morning and walk from my hostel to get that shot. Yes. This is what I looked like on my way to Japan in 2016. Rather mad. Imagine that person sat next to you on through the entire flight. I think I took my hat off and my shades, though. I lost those shades. My friend Mully from YouTube, I went to visit him, and the shades were a bit broken, so we went specially to his optometrist, who carefully sort of restored the shades, and I then wore them for about an hour. And we were driving. We stopped at a way station on the highway, and when I came back to the car, the shades had gone. They really much sort of balanced in my top pocket, and we then drove away. And then I realised that I'd lost them. And his optometrist friend had spent all this time and effort repairing them. I think that's a shrine in Akasaka in Tokyo. Yeah, the Tintin rocket. Yes, that's at Brussels Airport. One of the displays there. Yes, I haven't been in touch with Mully for ages, but I stayed at his place about two times. Yeah. This is the Edo Museum in Ueno, or near Ueno, showing Nihonbashi Bridge as it was back in the 17th century. Yes, looked like I enjoyed life. I still do. Oh, hang on. That's Keisan Death. A death metal singer that became friends with Robert knows her. we did our show, The Three Old Dudes, and she was a guest on it a few times, or popped in a few times. So obviously when I went over to Japan, I decided we'd meet up. Tokyo Station. It's always impressive. I like that. It's very nice there. Yes, death, not death. As in death metal. She does the death metal growling. Not always. She sometimes sings ordinary songs as well. But hello, Tomodachi. Tomodachi. Oh, that's a good play on words. Friend. Hello, friend. Nice to see you. Hang on, I'm here in the corner. That's Tokyo Station before when they were busy, like digging it up. Hello. We're just having a slideshow here because I'm stuck in my living room. It's too cold to go outside, and I don't have a guest. How do I write? Oh, it's Rory. Oh, hello, Rory. Hello. Adonabati is here, and Vicky was here earlier as well. I don't know whether Vicky's still here. And there we that's the corner tower. I think that's the corner tower. Yes, corner tower of Imperial Palace in Tokyo. Oh, you've got the same picture of Tokyo Station being dug up. I took that from sort of a viewing platform on in Marunouchi. Right, spot Simon's shoes. Actually, they're right in the middle. This is at a guest house in Akasaka. Obviously, you always have to take your shoes off, but there's that many people that there's no space left to put them in the shelves. It was rather nice. It was a converted warehouse in Akasaka. Very cozy. I think it opened. It only when I was there, it'd only been open about a year or so. So it was all very clean and fresh and new. A very handy place, Akasaka. You can get to lots of places from there. What's this? This looks vaguely like kaiseki. I can't remember where this was. The portions are all very, 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 look very, very nice. But, 2 bites and it's gone. And so is half your wallet. Hang on. This I'll pause it here and we'll go to the video. This is Kiki, so the shamisen players. And this is me. And I'd gone to this restaurant where they play. I said I'd meet up with them there, and they actually give performances there. And also, they're friends with the owners, who is also a shamisen player, and they help serve at the restaurant. And I shall now add this to the stream. Thank you very much.
Please enjoy.
These are my friends, Hikari-san and Ganami-san, and they're going to play a special song for me. So, tell me if you can hear it. Thank you. Dozo arigato. Sorry, dozo arigato gozaimasu. Too much sake. Thank you. Well, there you are. Hang on. Let's go back to the slideshow. Hang on. Right. Play. Okay. So that was Kiki, and I was very lucky there. I'd gone to that restaurant. I was planning to meet up with another YouTuber, Nanda Mogai, an American chap from Colorado, who was coming to Japan for his usual several months visit with his wife, his Japanese wife, to visit their family, and his plane was delayed, so I was sat there in the restaurant waiting for them, and I ended up just having the dinner on my own with Kiki serving me and then playing that song for me, which was rather good. Mount Fuji, of course, from the Shinkansen. Never got closer to the mountain than that. I think that's Nagoya. And again, Don Quixote, that big black building in the middle is Don Quixote, which is quite near to my hotel. I think it's just outside my hotel. I was taking a picture of it. It says so. Great for if you're in need of spare underwear. Don Quixote is the place to go. It's just, yes, alas, they regularly win national shamisen competitions. There's me, one of the few times that I actually wear a shirt not tucked into my trousers in Nagoya at the Tokugawa Museum. I was there with my friend Mikey Chen, and we were waiting for Tomoko Des to turn up. She arrived later on her bike. She doesn't live that far away from it. There she is. I only went for a couple of weeks each time. I mean, I think the longest time I went was once for 3 weeks. That was my last visit. And there's some people who go for, my friend Hinnock, he goes for like, a month or more at a time. I can't afford really to do that. MDA87, hi. Right, I'm trying to work out what happened to me. This is Atsuta. I can't pronounce it. Atsuta Jinja in Nagoya, which is second only to Ise Jingu as the main Shinto shrine of Japan. And again, paddy fields through the Shinkansen window. I went in 2015 and then liked it so much I went back in 2016 and made so many friends and wanted to go really back in 2017 and then back again in 2018 and not been able to get back since, unfortunately. I think some temple somewhere, some screen with gold leaf and a pine tree. Can't remember exactly where. In 2016, I think I went in November. I always either went in November or March. This is Shoren Inn in Kyoto. The garden of Shoren Inn. Very, very nice. It was about 5 minutes from the hostel I was staying in. What months? November in 2016. Yes, it was. Talking about just the ease of doing things. It was just a question of clicking on the computer, booking hotels, booking this, that, and the other. and then paying for it all, booking the flight. And that's like obviously a map of the temple complex. Seems to be staying on screen for a long time. Oh, there we go. And one of the typical streets in Kyoto. Kyoto is great. If you have this image of Japan in your head as the traditional buildings and not concrete block tower blocks, then Kyoto is the place to go. Yes, I mean, I would not go. I mean, I have always 2 weeks off in summer in Belgium because that's when my work closes. So theoretically, I could go to Japan in summer for 2 weeks, but no. That's looking up from either Sanenzaka or Ninenzaka in Kyoto on the way to Kiyomizudera. It'd be interesting now to go to Kyoto. There's Kiyomizudera. Very spectacular temple with that massive gallery. I remember being quite crowded, lots of school children as well. Oh, this is Yoko Shibata. She's on YouTube. And I said, I'm coming to Japan. Shall we meet up? She said, okay. So we spent a day going around the Imperial Palace Gardens. That's us there. And her friend Naoki. And then we went to Sanju Sangendo, which is a temple filled with 1,000 Buddha statues. Oh, that's Sanju Sangendo, and that's my friend Noriko there next to. There's a childhood friend of Yoko Shibata's, and they'd not met for years. And I accidentally made friends with Noriko on Facebook, and said, "Oh, shall we meet?" And then first time they'd met, when I met up with them, brought them together, kind of thing. So, Kiyomizudera is your favourite place, Rory? It's very nice. I enjoy it. And then we suddenly jumped to Yamaguchi in the rain, and my friend driving us to, what was it? Caves. I can't remember the name of the caves. Famous caves. Biggest cave complex in Japan. Beni Buddhas, yes. It was like, I wasn't allowed to take photographs in there, I don't think, but I remember there being lots and lots of very dusty Buddhas. This is an all-you-can-eat restaurant that we stopped on the way out in Yamaguchi. It was like a liquid chocolate fountain, I remember. I think you can see it there in the background. I couldn't eat all that much, actually. Akiyoshidai, that's it. Akiyoshidai Caves. That's the entrance to the caves. A limestone outcrop in Yamaguchi. All the sort of typical stalactites and stalagmites and formations. About like 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers walk inside. I'd recommend it if you go to Japan. Yeah, it's similar to Wookiee Hole, but more spectacular. I think that was the only time that she and I, my friend there, held hands because nobody could see us, and it was dark. Because public displays of affection in Japan are not done. So I think we held hands in the caves. And that's the top of the caves, so on the top area, sort of like with all these typical limestone landscape with sinkholes and everything. And this is also not so far away, Benten Beppu Ike, which is like a healing waters pond with this weird sort of aquamarine colouring, and the waters are healing. You're not allowed to drink directly from the waters, but there's some taps further along in this complex where you can fill up your water bottles with the spring water. Heian-ko. I went to there was some pictures earlier, Rory, of we went to the gardens there. I went to the Heian-ko Gardens. I didn't actually go to the palace. We just went. We stood in the forecourt of the palace, and then we went to the gardens there. My friends and I. This is the Mori Gardens in Yamaguchi. He was a leading clan member in the sort of the Meiji period, partly responsible for the Meiji Restoration. And this was his estate. And we jumped to Harajuku. No, actually, Omotesando. And there's a random Harajukuite who happens to be wandering around in Omotesando. Unfortunately, she'd love to go to visit me in Belgium, but yes, she earns less than me, or about as much as me, and so. She would probably have to, getting time off work in Japan is extremely difficult. And this is, and then for some reason, this is the National Arts Centre in. I just went to the gift shop in there. I didn't actually look at the art. I was looking for a present for somebody. It's a cool building though. And this is Ebisu, on one of the streets in Ebisu. It's like an open-fronted restaurant, and there's sort of flame cooking, on the street. That was rather cool. I was there with what's it called? Frame of Travel, and sake. Sake, yes. They put it in the cedar box, and then they filled it to the brim. It was rather good. Rory, Yahoo! Does that mean you like sake too? You're then we were suddenly in Akihabara, in one of the shops. All the kind of like geeky stuff. I was like looking for a figure for my son from Yu-Gi-Oh! There we are. Okonomiyaki in Akihabara with Mikey Chen's husband Tatsu, who I met up with in Tokyo. He works there, but they live in Nagoya, but he works in Tokyo, or worked. They now live in America. But I can recommend okonomiyaki. Monjayaki is also nice, but it looks like a complete mess. But okonomiyaki is it's very tasty. And this is Rikiguen Gardens. I can recommend that as well. Very, very sort of relaxing. All the various features in the gardens are based on classic Chinese poetry. roast dinner. Yes, and Tatsu and I had matcha and wagashi. Very nice. Yes, it's like Japanese pizza, Rory. Yes, it is. But tastier than pizza, I find. Especially the sauce you put on it. Jumping to Tokyo, the east gardens of the Imperial Palace. There's some, like not a sculpture, but fountains. And this little girl was fascinated by the fountains, which were going off in timed intervals. Yes, and it must have been a Sunday because they close the roads to traffic on a Sunday, and you can walk and run and cycle around Marunouchi and the Imperial Palace and Hibiya. So that's what all these people were doing. You don't do that here. If you go out on a bike, looking at your comments earlier, Night Riders Girl, yes, it's not safe to go out on a bike. Oh, and this was in Koden Macho near Nihonbashi. This was a street market organised by a friend of one of my friends with traditional Japanese things. The first time it happened. When am I planning to go back? When it's open. I was saying earlier that that's me playing, I can't remember the name. You've got to sort of throw a little ball up on a string and catch it in a cup. I did manage it. And if you notice that I'm dressed identically to several people there, I have, blend in when you go to Japan. I'm planning to go back, when it's over, it could be 2023 at this rate. Oh, and this is nice. This isn't musical organ. Well, the bottom bit is a musical organ. The top bit is a sculpture built in the 1960s in the Mitsukoshi department store. It's rather amazing. It's huge, right in the middle of the store. That's a friend I made in Nihonbashi. I haven't spoken to her for a while. I really did blend in, LOL, yeah. Yes, mad Englishman. They've got a flea market in Kyoto. Oh, that's when I went for lunch at the Imperial Hotel with Yoko Shimada again. I think that was 2016. Yeah, my second visit. And she was there with one of the producers, like a theatre producer. And he showed me where, after we'd finished, he kindly showed me how to get back to the station. And of course, my plane back. Raining it was, I think, when we left. Never been able to sleep on a plane. Just the engine noise. Yeah, it was a pleasant flight. I mean, 11 hours. The only time you could sort of stretch your legs was if you went to the loo. I think I've been to Mandarake. in Akihabara, and also been to Nakano Broadway. I think yes, I went to Nakano Broadway to get the figure for my son. Oh, this is an intermediate slide in in my Japanese class slideshow. So pause. The next one will be 2017. Just tell me if you've had enough. I can round it up. Yes, Dibble is visible from any direction. Oh yes, here we go. 2017. May. I actually went in May, not March. May it was. All right. So it's getting warmer. I remember it being relatively warm. Bearable though, still bearable. Oh yeah, Nihonbashi Mitsukoshi department store. This is what the outside, and the lions were cast from the same lions that were used to make those in Trafalgar Square. But this one dates only to the 1930s, I think. The department store. But there's been a department store on that site since the 16th century. And if you turn sideways, that's the Mitsukoshi department store front. Very 1930s architecture. I think that's taken from the underground entrance to Mitsukoshi Mai station. That's my friend from Nihonbashi. Yes, where is home, J-Vlog? I'm always assuming you're British, but you could be American. Ah, right. For those of you who know Shogun, the TV series and the book, the first Englishman ever to visit Japan or arrive in Japan was William Adams, who became the only sort of or the very first non-Japanese samurai, and was sort of an advisor to Tokugawa Ieyasu, and that marker is an area in Nihonbashi where he used to live. And this is a plaque near Family Mart, also in Nihonbashi, to show the site of the birthplace of Junichiro Tanizaki, one of Japan's top authors. Toronto, right. Canadian. And that's Nihonbashi. Apparently in 2035, that bridge construction, the motorway above the bridge, is going to be removed and placed and buried underground. That's a Mikoshi sort of portable shrine that I just saw in a window of a random car dealer walking around the streets of Nihonbashi. Obviously, sort of the car dealer is one of the sort of the Mikoshi team supporters or whatever, and they had it in their showroom window. Oh yes, and I did the seven Lucky Gods tour of Nihonbashi. These are all the various shrines that you can visit in Nihonbashi. Theoretically, you're supposed to get a stamp. You do that at the beginning of the year, And if you do it, you get good fortune. I think I did it in May. So, not quite sure whether I got good fortune or not. This is a random mix of photos from Ebisu. There's a frame of travel with his beard, Victor, and his friend Paul there on the left. And Bushido Devil Dog, and me in the middle. And we went to a stand-up sake bar in Ebisu, and I had some frozen sake, which is that picture in the top right. It's rather nice. Ah, yes, Tokyo Tower. How to get a picture of Tokyo Tower? Went to a rather dilapidated-looking garden, which was a bit disappointing, near Tokyo Tower. And also near Zozoji Temple, which is one of the most popular temples in Japan for the locals. There we go, Zozoji, with the Tokyo Tower in the background. The Tokugawa family shrines are behind there, or graves, not shrines, but they're only accessible at certain times of the year. I can't remember where this was, or the name of the garden. Hamarikyu? No, it's not Hamarikyu Gardens. But apparently these gardens, when they were created, were only a stone's throw away from the sea. And subsequently, the land has been reclaimed, and they're now miles and miles inland. But they were a favourite garden of the emperor at the time because they had a view of the sea. And we jumped back to Shinjuku and the barcode building. I could only just see the head of Godzilla. If you look right in the centre, just slightly to the left of the barcode building is Godzilla's head. These are the things you go to Japan for, to see Godzilla. Now, where the hell is that? Oh, that's the Tokyo Metropolitan Government building viewing platform looking out over Tokyo, largest city on Earth. Ah, the J-Block, yes. Yes. My family have not been able to get here for 2 years now. Easier to come into Belgium from Britain, though, but still. Another view from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government building. You can see Meiji Jingu Garden, so the gardens around Meiji Jingu there, that green patch. I went there with Ozzy Awesome and Kaysan Death and Kaz, the photographer. That was fun. Nagoya, like it says on the slide, that's Nagoya. The big, like, silver ball in Nagoya. I think that's a museum of some description. It's worth going up not that much. It's free as well, and you get fantastic views. Nagoya Station, which is rather cool, or a building right on top of Nagoya Station there. They know how to do futuristic in Japan when they get it right. Ah, Ozkanon, like the Buddhist temple in Nagoya. That's where I met up with Mikey Chen and her husband. And there's also like a shopping arcade next to it. Very sort of traditional style. No, you can't be scared of heights. Sort of, it's very high up. And yes, can't have Japan without like anime cars. Randomly, I think that's an RX-7 for all the car buffs. I could be wrong. There you are, big macho like race car and kawaii childish idols on your car. Oh, Kyoto Station, built in the 90s, but still looking futuristic. Not much even knows who that is on that car. RX-8. Yeah, I knew it was an RX of some description from the shape, general shape. And I know that because I played Gran Turismo and not because I'm an aficionado of Japanese cars. Ah, this is Kyoto again. This is blah, blah, blah. You walk down the hill from Kiyomizu-dera and keep going, and almost as you get to sort of the main street, there's this temple thing. Ah, Itasha comes from it's the name of this. It's like what you describe those cars as. Okay. This is one of the main temples in Kyoto, not that far, walking distance from the station. Quite liked it with all the sort of like black and white, contrasty woodwork. Have you got to go, Peppo? Bye-bye. Doi. And another often photographed street in Kyoto on the way to Kiyomizu-dera. Imagine having a house like that, although you'd like constantly have tourists walking past. That's quite right, Dibble. Yes, more or less. That and French fries. Another. You know, it's like Kyoto is like temples, shrines, temples, more temples, shrines, more old stuff. It's like every corner you turn is like historic stuff. Yes, I want to go. This is why I'm doing it, alas, because I can't go on holiday and travel. We all can't. I'm just being nostalgic. This is my one and very few times that I actually went out into the Japanese countryside outside of a city. Chuck recommended. I was asking, Chuck. I was like chatting with her online when I was in Kyoto. I said, what else is there to do? And I said, oh, go and visit this place. And it was a temple and a village outside on a mountain outside Kyoto. So I got a little train, also decorated with like anime characters. This train was. And went out to this village and walked up the hill and into the woods to visit this mountain top shrine. (1,600 historical sites). Yes, so I've done Kyoto 3 times and still not finished. I've forgotten the name of the village. But this was a great village, sort of Kibune. This is what it's called. Is this village, and it's famous for having these restaurants with tables actually on the river. And I did go. I was extremely tempted and did succumb and go in and have lunch on one of the restaurants on a table over the river. But unfortunately, I don't have a picture of that. I have a picture instead of Nanzenji Zen Dry Garden for some reason. Which is less busy than the more famous one. Jack Whitehills, I don't know that one. Oh, there you all. Yeah, there's Tomoko Des. She came to visit me for a day in Kyoto. We went to Arashiyama, and that's Togetsuko Bridge. Yep. You recognise it, Rory? Yeah. What I would like to have done as well, there's a boat trip. If you go over the bridge to the other side, there's like boats that take you up a gorge. Again, from the Shinkansen window, a view of Tomoko Des. Where's that? I think that's somewhere in Tokyo, just to show you that sort of Tokyo back streets, not everything is clean and tidy and neat. Rusty corrugated iron houses somewhere in a street in Tokyo. I think this was in the Yanasen area. And that's Nezu Shrine. Yes, it is Yanasen in Nezu. Very spectacular and elaborate and colourful and quiet as well. Yes, the ladies from the Okairi restaurant. Google recommended me, I was hungry, and Google recommended me a nearby restaurant near to the shrine. So I went there and ended up making friends with the staff. And went back each time I went to Japan after that. The lady on the right is the owner. That's what it's an old like warehouse type place that she had it converted. So it hadn't been open that long when I first visited, only a couple of years or so. It's tucked away. You have to sort of use Google Maps to try and find it. It's not on the main street. This is Todoroki Valley in Tokyo. One valley, it's like a gorge in the middle of Tokyo, full of trees and an old river. And this is a bridge that was built for a golf course in the early 1900s, of all things. That's at the start of the walk. It's only about a kilometre long walk through this valley, but it's very lush and green, and it's odd to have it. And that's my friend from Nihonbashi. We went there together. I did some YouTube streams, yes, in fairly ropey and pixelated, I'm afraid. I did them on my old show, Robert Knows. So Robert and my other co-host, were back in Canada and Australia, and I was in Tokyo, and I streamed my section of the show from there. Now this is on top of a Kofun burial mound just above the Todoroki Valley, which was close to a public toilet, of all things. Setagaya, yes, that's right, Adalabati, the Todoroki Valley. I had some very nice sushi there in Todoroki. before we went to walk through the valley. And that's my friend and I on top of the Kofun burial mound. Sumo is calling you. Okay, bye-bye, J-Vlog. Throw your salt. Hitch up your... I can't remember, I don't know what it's called. Your funabashi. Stamp your feet. This is a random house on the way out of the Todoroki Valley towards the Tamagawa River. Not every house has a samurai helmet on the gate pillar. That's why I took a photograph of that. And Nihonbashi Bridge. We actually see the bridge instead of the motorway above it. I think built in 1878 or something like that. Yes, alas. One of the reasons I would like to get back to Japan. Ah, yes, this is the Imperial Palace Gardens again. Very nice. If you're in the middle of Tokyo and you've had enough of like Shibuya and Shinjuku and all the rest, and you feel like having a sort of a breather, then the Imperial Palace Gardens are highly recommended. Oh, Red Butterfly has got to go. Bye-bye, Red Butterfly. Oh, this is Fukutoka Jinja in Nihonbashi. It's apparently, for people looking for good fortune with money, you go there. Ah, that's my 2017 visit. I met up with Kiki again, and they were playing with their band in Shibuya. I think the one on the right of me with the sort of brown hair, Hikari, she is now married to the drummer of the band, and the one on the left with the yellow headband, Kanami, she got married recently, last year. Not to anybody from the band, just her boyfriend. And obviously going back with Fuji, either arriving or going Mount Fuji through the plane window. Will I ever want to live in Japan? Alas, no, I'm afraid not. No, I mean I've visited and I've learned all about Japanese society and Japanese mindset, and I just don't think I could manage it. Really, I would have to be myself. There'd be lots of uchi and soto and hone and tatamai. It would be mostly tatamai for me to be able to survive there, I think. This is the last visit. It's nearly finished, everybody. That's Kinkakuji, or is it? Yeah, the Silver Pavilion in Kyoto. To live in a city, I don't think I've ever lived in a city. I've lived in towns, but never cities. I don't know. I could manage a city. Oh, this is what you see if you're flying into Narita. The first thing you see, sort of, when you cross the coastline. It's all very flat and all like rice fields. Where was this? Oh, this is my friend in Yamaguchi again. Can't remember what we're eating. Something with tempura. Yes, bamboo shoot and tempura and udon. It looks like gyudon. It looks like some beef in there, so it's gyudon. Hikikomori. No, I would go. I would only go to live there if I could, for example, live with my friend here in Yamaguchi. You only saw clouds when you flew into Japan. All right. This is the remains of a samurai estate in Yamaguchi. There's my friend again from Yamaguchi. So if I could go and live with my friend in Yamaguchi, I would have to deal with her grandchildren, though. This was a Hiwatari Fire Festival at a temple in Yamaguchi. And the guys in purple are Buddhist priests, because it's a Buddhist temple. But you can just about see a guy in white sort of there, and they're Yamabushi, which are Shinto mountain priests. And they have an arrangement with the Buddhists to use their grounds for this festival, and they set fire to like pine logs, and there's all sorts of like blowing of conch shells and banging of drums and chanting and all that business. And at a certain point, the crowd has sticks with their good fortunes or misfortunes written on them or something like that, and they all throw their sticks into the fire. This is what it looks. This is the town of Hofu, where my friend lives in Yamaguchi. This is looking from the hills down into Hofu. Yeah, I went to a tea ceremony in Hofu. A chap with the glasses and the lady just over my shoulder are from the Tourist Information Centre. And the lady behind me is a married shrine maiden. She wears a green skirt instead of a red skirt. And she performed the tea ceremony. For 500 yen, she did a little tea ceremony for me. And I had some matcha green tea at the temple in Yamaguchi, and there's a random grasshopper on a piece of bamboo near the temple. Contemplative, that is the word. As we all go quiet and look at a grasshopper for a minute. Okay. This is not mist. This is wood smoke. Wood smoke at another temple in the hills outside Yamaguchi, and it looks very spectacular with the sun coming through the trees and the wood smoke. That there was like an old lady gardener burning leaves and garden rubbish. It's very prosaic. When the time that I was visiting there, but it looked nice. And that's the temple bell. I actually rang it. You put five yen in a box, and you're allowed to ring the bell. I actually cycled up to that thing with an electric bicycle that I hired from tourist information at Hofu Station. It's rather nice, tucked away in the hills with all the trees and everything around it. Not many people were there because it's quite sort of remote. I think this was also November, looking at the brown leaves on the trees. These are the local trains in West Japan. I then went on this train from Hofu to Ube to visit Inglenese, who hasn't been in the chat for a long time, but Inglenese lives sort of down the railway line from Hofu with his Japanese wife and their two kids. You gotta go, Night Rider's gal? Okay, bye-bye. There's Inglenese. Two British chaps wandering about in Ube. The Yi Shinkansen. my preferred mode of transport in Japan. This is Simon Nostalgia, Blues and Chill Nostalgia Trip. This has been going on for an hour and 40 minutes. I hope you don't mind. Hang on, my son's here. I'm just going to let him in. You carry on. This is Onomichi in Hiroshima Prefecture. Yeah, they're ready. I'm just doing the show still. Yeah, nearly finished. Alright, this is Onomichi. A very nice place. And that's one of the cats of Onomichi. It's renowned for having cats. Do I need the headphones? No, I don't need the headphones. And signs in English, which is rather unusual. Ah, you're off. Okay, my son's going to the game shop. Okay. No, that was Nick, who you may or may not have seen. My youngest son. This is the Philosopher's Path. We jumped now from Onomichi in Hiroshima Prefecture back to Kyoto. Yes, I went to Kyoto after Onomichi. This is the Philosopher's Path at about 8 o'clock in the morning in Kyoto, on the way to the Silver Temple. I saw a crane standing in the water as well there, like a crane, the bird crane. And there's the Silver Temple, the Silver Pavilion, I should say. Yes, it definitely was autumn. You know, the leaves are all changing. Beautiful moss amongst the trees as well in the gardens. Ah, yes. Fushimi Inari Taisha, sort of Fushimi Shrine. And that is mostly Chinese tourists. And it was raining, as you can see. And I thought, oh dear, this is going to be all the way to the top, like going slowly, stuck behind this lot. But the They only got up halfway and then they all turned back, and I kept going. And it was all quiet after that. It looks like this all the way up to the top. It's quite spectacular. And there were certain points where they were restoring the Torii gates, because they're all wooden, and eventually they rot. So some of them fall over. And there's sort of construction going on. There's me, slightly damp. When you get to the top, it's not very spectacular. After all these amazing gates, you get to the Inari Shrine. Oh, Tomoko Des in her new leather jacket. We jump back to Oz Cannon shopping arcade. Yeah, so I was with her and Give Me a Break Man. Ah, this is the nightclub in Nagoya where I met up again with my actress friend. That's the band. Unfortunately, the nightclub has had to close because of COVID, but they've found a new location. But it's a nightclub that had been going for like 30 years or so. And the keyboard player is an English chap. And that's 3 o'clock in the morning after the nightclub. There's my actress friend on the left there, and her friend in the middle with the red hat, who's now a friend of mine. So if you're watching this, Keiko, Nagoya Castle. I didn't go in this time. I went in last time, the first time with Mikey Chen and Tomoko Des. It's very nice. In those like new cedar buildings there, they've got the panels. They've reconstructed how it would have looked originally. But the queues to get in were sort of immense. So I just went sort of around the outside and in the gardens that year. And that's a tea room in the gardens of Nagoya Castle. I had again green tea again with gold bits in it. Apparently you can drink the gold, but I picked it out. I didn't quite fancy drinking gold. Not sure if I got a picture of that. Yes, there we are. Look, green tea with gold in it. No thanks. Have you been to Nagoya Adolabati? Has some nice parts. Has some rather sort of mediocre parts as well. Because I got lost in Nagoya once and thought, oh, it isn't as spectacular as as the area I was staying in. Where's this? Where is this? Trying to think out. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, this is in the Yanasen district again, in near Nezu Shrine. It's what the streets look like round there. Have you had matcha, alas? It's sort of like it's like it has the texture of latte, but tastes slightly bitter. Ah, yes, yes. I went to visit the Okairi restaurant again. Ah, your husband's cousins are in Nagoya. Ah, all right. Oh, you should go and visit. I could recommend various places. Unfortunately, that nightclub, as I said, is closed, so you couldn't go there. Nezu Shrine again. This was Shichigo-han, so everybody was with their 3-year-olds and 7-year-olds, all dressed up, and 5-year-olds. 3, 5, 7. That's right. Yeah. This is going to be a 2-hour stream. This is this is the sort of like fall asleep to Simon's. This is where is this? Oh, I've forgotten. I met up with Aussie Awesome there. Forgotten the name of this place. We didn't stay there. I just met him there, and then we went to Shibuya. But I've forgotten the name of the place. Famous place in Tokyo. This is in Shibuya. Robert will recognise Nuts there in the stripy shirt. Nuts, the drummer from Kei-san's, formerly of the drummer of Kei-san's band. And that's my friend Sandy on the right. She's a voice actress. She's been on the show once. Yeah, we were just getting our photos from Purikura. That's Mashu, who has disappeared off the face of the earth. Mashu and Rina, who were once a couple, Australian guy and a Japanese woman, who were starting to get very popular on YouTube. And then they got married, and then they disappeared. But this is me and Mashu and Rina. We went to visit the Edo Open Air Museum. There's Rina. It's a very interesting place there. I could recommend. Have you ever been there, Adolabate, the Edo Open Air Museum? They've like brought all buildings from all over Japan and reconstructed them. And this is where is this? This is Ginza. It's a restaurant in Ginza, which I thought was rather interesting with the statues there. Oh, there we are, Adolabate, Yokohama, Mirata Murai. This is taken from the Pot Noodle Museum. There's a balcony on the Pot Noodle Museum where you can take photos from. So I did have pictures of Yokohama. Yes, look, there's the Ferris wheel. I got a bit closer than you did today. I think there's possibly even a picture of Chinatown coming up as well. That's Tokyo Joe, and that's that Golden Temple. If you're still here at Adolabate, that's the Golden Temple that you were at the other week, and that's the picture I took of my friend Tokyo Joe outside the temple in Chinatown in Yokohama. Pot Noodle Museum, quite bare, very big rooms with like information on the walls about the history of pot noodles, and a few pot noodle sculptures, and not much else. There we are, Chinatown. Yokohama Center is also quite nice. Lots of old sort of Western style buildings. Quite unusual in that sense. Oh, there's Harajuku. No, yes, Omotesando, close to Harajuku. There's Kathy Cat from Ask Japanese. I met up with her. I had bubble tea for the first and only time in my life with her and her producer friend. And we went for lunch. And she's doing her sort of question and answer things for her show. Yes, that's right. This is a young woman in her furisode outside Meiji Jingu. I now follow her on Instagram. Hey, are you Jen? MMLSO. Have you been here all the time, Iogen? You've missed all. There's old Harajuku station before they knocked it down. It was very. I can understand why they wanted to knock it down because it's very crowded and small inside. But it's extremely historical, so it was rather regrettable that they knocked it down. Some of you may recognize that man. I met up with YouTuber Hiko Simon, or he met up with me in Shimokitazawa for the manly pursuit of eating cupcakes. Tokyo Drew happened to pass by as we were doing it as well, which is rather bizarre. Look, there's my friends again. I told you I keep going back to this restaurant. I went there with Tokyo Brie. I met up with her and said, "Oh, I know this restaurant. Shall we go there?" So we went there. Yes, cupcakes are a serious business. Not much. New York cupcakes in Shimokitazawa. It's very nice. I could recommend it. That's my friend from Akita, but we're actually in the Hanbei in Shinjuku, like a nostalgic Showa-style izakaya. It was there with Kaz and Remy as well. That's in Hibiya Park. This is a part of the old moat from the Edo Castle in Hibiya Park. Jumping from one place to another in Tokyo here. I can recommend Hibiya Park as well. It's the first Western-style park in Japan, built in the 1880s or something like that. There's a sort of a bronze crane statue fountain, actually. This is a fountain. Part of the park. It is very peaceful. Tokyo is, I mean, it's a bustling city, and some people don't like it because it's so crowded, but it can also be peaceful. And just when you thought it was all clean and tidy, this is Amayokucho near Ueno, like a shopping street, and this is one of the side alleys of the shopping street, just to show you that it looks quite normal and not super tidy and clean. There we go. There's Eric Surf 6. Hang on, I'll just move. And Radri. You know Radri, he's sometimes in comments. And the guy with this big grin, that's Riken from Riken's Magic. It's very popular on YouTube if you speak Spanish or Mexican, because he's a Mexican magician. That's why he knows Eric Surf 6. Oh, that's in a club. No, it's not in a club. That's in a bar, in a downstairs bar in a guest house in Nihonbashi with my friend. Part of the reason. I spent all day going round like where was it? Harajuku, looking for looking for a polo shirt and a pair of shoes. Where's this? Hang on. Oh, this is Kamakura for some reason. And again, it's Shichigo Han. So all the parents there with their kids dressed up. Oh yes, another traditional Japanese wedding. I thought, wow, another traditional Japanese wedding. And then another one happened, and then another one happened. It was very popular. So I got quite blasé about it and stopped taking photographs after that. Ah, this is the... Hang on, my son's just come back from the game shop. That's the barmaid from a hostel I stayed in Ginza. I got very talkative with her. Oh, we must be near the end, because that's the Star Wars plane at the end. Ah. And I think the final shot is the there, you have to look at your side. The air hostesses were embarrassingly dressed as R2-D2. What does it means? I got very talkative with her, alas. I mean, I just chatted with her. She spoke good English, and she doesn't work there anymore. I'm still in touch with the people at the hostel, but she left sort of about a year or so after I'd visited. Oh no, that's the last shot. Yes, I'm not in touch with her anymore. I'd like to get in touch with her. She was a nice person. Mikiko. I think that's it. If it goes back round to 2015, then that's the end, and which is good, because we've been going for 2 hours. I wasn't anticipating or this actually. I think, has it stopped? It could have stopped. That could be the last picture. Hang on, let's have a look. Playlist. If it's not moving, then that's the last picture. Yes, that's the last picture. So what I shall do, I shall go back here. And as my son has come back now, and will be wanting the television back. So I should say thank you very much for putting up with me. Thank you, Adalabate. Thank you, Alas. Thank you, Red Butterfly. Not that much. Dibble, if you're still here. Robert, if you're there. Who else have we got? Are you Jen, if you're still here? Who else? I think those are the hardcore who have remained. Not that much. Anybody else that's lurking, and all those who watched before, and all those who watch after the event. Chuck and your mum. Thank you for watching. Next week I don't know what will happen. I shall be older by 1 year next week. So I might do something interesting or not. There may be cake. So that's next week. But for now, thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Are you going to Radri's? Yes. No getting older. Okay. Thanks, everybody. And bye for now. It's kind of like a rather abrupt end, but we've been going for 2 hours. So thank you for watching. And see you all again next week. Bye-bye.